Have you ever felt like you will never reach the summit? Like it's never enough. No matter how creative you get, no matter how productive you are, no matter how many ideas you have and execute on. Instead of gaining clarity by creativity, you find yourself lost and surrounded in a thick fog of thoughts. When your brain never stops, constantly trying to connect the dots, finding inspiration everywhere but not getting anywhere, striving to create something outstanding while puking out pure mediocrity. Being a creative unable to get a hold of creativity, held hostage by your own ideas and aspirations, walking, running, climbing, jumping, flying, faster and faster, higher and higher, until you eventually burn, creating nothing but frustration. That's the creative burden. That's why we burn out. Too curious to stay away from it, too fascinated to stop. And creative Icarus, unable to restrain himself from flying, no matter how often he crashes. So how do I fly without burning myself? 2020 was an intense year so far, probably for all of us, and a few days ago, I reached a personal tipping point. I was working on 2 video ideas very important to me, waiting until the very last minute to shoot them and... yeah, I didn't get them done. So I packed up to go on a vacation, just leaving it. But even then I thought, maybe I can turn this into a video. Catching myself with no pants on. I actually even tried, sitting down, working late again, with no pants on. Most people don't go out without their pants on, yet so many of us creatives try to work through creative block in the absence of creativity. Sure, sometimes it works to work the block, yet sometimes the block may actually work you instead. Does that even... Anyway, I decided to ditch it, consciously. I decided to take my distance, to make some distance. If I get to create something out of this, I told myself, then only if I try to take the time to figure out what the creative burden is and how to deal with it. On the first day after our arrival in the Austrian Mountains, I took a day off, a day for myself alone. I took the time to think. And I'm still not sure why, but at some point I opened up my computer typing the free journal. And I don't journal, like never, but I thought, what if I try to write down my thoughts as honest as possible without cloaking them in creativity, as short and as precisely as I can. On the first day I wrote, is it possible to capture something without wanting to create more out of it? Even when writing this journal, I try to create something out of it. And I won't, but I also will. Ambiguity is something beautiful, something very human. But always hustling, always pushing through isn't ambiguous. It's simple-minded, it's singular, one approach. That's why it's easy for me. That's why taking a break is hard for me. It's ambiguous. The next days I started filming, aimlessly, whenever I just felt like it, and it felt pretty freeing. And I took more time to think. And maybe this sounds stupid, but how often do you take the time to think? How often do you take the time to sit down and consciously think on a subject? I realized very often when I think, there is this spark, this initial idea, but I never get to think it fully through. Almost like a cloud emerging out of nothing, floating in the seemingly endless sky of my conscious. But what if the sky isn't endless? What if I never clear it and these clouds pile up and eventually take over, leaving me with nothing but blurry ideas and a misty mind? I continued the free journal. On the 5th day I wrote, lovely day. I feel like I almost don't want to go back to creating, but I really want. It's like hiking. I hate it and I love it. You need both sides of the emotional spectrum. Everything else is not a fulfilling relationship worth exploring, but just an unsatisfying compromise. no matter how much you try to squeeze out the best of it. One day later we went on a spontaneous trip to Venice, literally booked hours ahead. And I loved it. I filmed a lot, more than I intended to. I even started to vlog a little. And damn, I got rusty. But if there is beauty, I want to capture it. By the time I made my peace with the creative burden, I thought about it. Maybe the creative burden is less about being creative and more about being the creative. Maybe it is about bearing the creative flow without the attempt to capture and capitalize on it. Just let it flow and be. Have a relationship with creativity.
This is from my journal as well. And writing the voiceover for this video came so easy to me, and it was so fun like it has not been in a long time. And I'm not really sure if this is actually helpful, but so often I've been told in my life to do all the things I do not like to push myself forward. Like hiking, which I hate and I love at the same time. Like journaling, which I always refused to do, and now it kind of came weird to me and I guess I stick with it. But no one ever really told me to not do the things I actually love. Like taking a distance, leaving them, not even really taking a break, but almost forcefully refusing them. I guess if I don't want to crash flying, I need to take a walk sometimes. Or a hike.
I know it's a lot of weird analogies this time. What I mean is, instead of catching yourself with no pants on, why not just leave them at home and feel awesome without?